Update 1.25 is coming in EU4's Dev Diary, 16th of January 2018. We'll know what it affects. It affects Ireland, Scotland, England, and France, and Wales. So, let's talk about what in detail, right? So, it doesn't have a name yet. They've decided to go for another update on the British Isles and the Low Countries too. Yeah, the Low Countries too, and France. So, you can see here, the map has changed, it's more detailed, especially that Pale region here around Dublin, called the Pale. And that was in practice the direct English rule here. And the other rules have collapsed, did not extend. So, while the particulars vary, the Anglo-Norman earls appears under the English kings are in practice independent by most definitions of the word and have become as Irish as the population of the govern. So the receding English influence has allowed many of the older Gaelic clans to thrive too. The island is home to several strong Irish kingdoms. With the English kings preoccupied with the 100 Years' War in France, that legendary starting war of EU4, and internal squabbles over even their own succession in the Irish independence, seems destined to last. Should England manage to stabilize and be able to focus on the Emerald Isle once again, however, the risk losing this freedom quickly. Even so, Ireland would likely be an unruly region to control. They want to show the various minor states in Ireland that thrived as the English rule grew weaker and weaker, showing how diverse the island was, and of the player to lead one of the many clans or earldoms of Ireland, perhaps to put up a stronger resistance to the English threat or fail, and at best hope to rule as an English vassal. So, all Irish tags, new and old, will be given individual national ideas, and the old group set will be repurposed and partly rewritten to be a reward for uniting the island. So, very cool. What have we now? Munster, an independent Irish kingdom. MacCarthy More, leader of the MacCarthys, and the hereditary Gaelic kings of Desmond. Named Munster to avoid confusion with the Earls of Desmond. So, then Ormond. Really nice. Independent Irish earldom. Tag represents the Butler family in 1444, the Earls of Ormond. Then Offaly. I've never heard of that, to my shame. Independent Irish kingdom. That is one of the primary regions subject to English settlement. And in EU4, it's ruled by the Fairlie O'Connors in 1444. They were really just one of the many minor clans in this region, so it's an unruly area. Then we have Tyrconnell. I love that. The O'Donnell kings of Tyrconnell are another native dynasty to Ireland with roots going hundreds of years back. Leinster. The independent kingdom of Leinster is ruled by the Kavanagh dynasty since the 12th century, the kingdom itself dating many hundred years further back. While close to the Pale, Leinster has a history of strong opposition to the English crown and has often been a force beyond its size in Ireland. So they're the networkers. In new terms, Clan Ricardi, old, the independent earldom. An Anglo-Norman dynasty, the Burke family rules their part of Ireland in the name of the English king. In practice, they're just as independent as their neighbours and are whatever, yeah. So, such a big update that there are some oddities in the writing. Still, I don't complain about that. I think it's great to have another great update coming. Kildare, an independent earldom, of course. The Fitzgerald Earls of Kildare are, for practical purposes, rulers of their crown lands, but their close proximity to the Pale means they have a closer relationship with the crown. They've often worked more closely with the king. Interestingly, I think Fitz was a name for bastards earlier on. So Fitzgerald was the bastard of a Gerald. But that, there were so many Fitzes that, yeah, it wasn't seen as something bad anymore or lesser. It was just Fitzgerald then. Thomond, old independent kingdom. Yeah, they remain one of the most independent Gaelic kingdoms on Ireland in 1444. Far from the direct reach of the English crown, their problems are more related to their immediate neighbours than a distant king. And Sligo, independent kingdom, ruled by the Sligo O'Connors. Much like the Fairlie O'Connors, their hold over the region was not as absolute as we show it in the game. Earldom of Desmond, also there, was called Munster, not to be confused with the Kingdom of Desmond, a tag we called Munster, rules the richer parts of southeastern Ireland. Their ties with the crown are not as close as those of their kinsmen in Kildare. And Tyrone, traditional one, the dominant Gaelic kingdom in the north, Tyrone is ruled by the ancient O'Neill dynasty. Tyrone was for a long time the most dominant state in the north. And Ulster, good old Ulster, in 1444, this province was home to a larger number of clans, many with close ties to their Scottish counterpart. In EU4, they are ruled by the Magennis dynasty. And then we come to Scotland. Nice thing. Sutherland, the Outer Hebrides, Inner Hebrides, Moray Firth, Aberdeen, Perth, Lothian. That looks just like very close to Crusader kings, right? 1444, Scotland remains a strong regional kingdom, supported by the Kingdom of France in the north. In the south, I mean, where the clans remain influential in Scottish politics and would likely assert their independence if they felt it threatened. The kingdom is unified in a way that Irish lords could only dream of. During their time on the throne, the Stuarts have strengthened their rule and their defences against the English to the south, while hungrily biding their time to reclaim the last remains of Norse rule in the form of the Norwegian Jarldom of Orkney in the north. Scotland has not received any new playable country tags in the 125 update, but the region has been broken up into more provinces, as you see here, very close to Crusader Kings 2, to give the Scottish kingdom a bit more depth and staying power. In the south, 2 provinces have been carved out to show that the Anglo-Scottish border is in fact not flat and hard to defend. There we go. The addition of the West and East March provinces instead allows Scotland to fight an invader before they reach the farmlands around the capital. Yeah, with fortresses, right? The Highlands have also been broken up, ensuring that the resurgent Highlander kingdom will be stronger and stand a better chance of surviving. Here. Then we've got England and Wales, also probably more provinces, which absolutely makes sense. The culture is so diverse. It's so fun to have a lot of different provinces. While England was updated once before after release, we felt that it was simply not up to date with regions like Denmark or Germany. Yeah, Germany is just great, right? It was too easy to overrun the island of Great Britain for a naval invader. England is arguably one of the historical winners of this period, and while England never saw much in the way of foreign invasion, it was the scene of 2 great civil wars. So England and Wales have been given a thorough rework, with many provinces carved out of the existing ones or redrawn to better reflect both the political and economic realities of the time. The Isle of Man has also been made its own province. Yeah, here, the Mun. Crusader Kings 2, I say. A naval base in the Irish Sea for whoever manages to get control of it. And it attacks Man, revolter in the Isle of Man province. In 1444, the Isle of Man is an English possession, but it was once a kingdom of its own, with roots in the now defunct Kingdom of the Isles. And we come to France and Burgundy. The winner in our timeline was France, the great kingdom that dominated European politics for centuries before imploding to internal unrest and rising reborn as a revolutionary empire of Napoleon, ready to reshape the politics of the continent completely. So 1444, France is the scene of the 100 Years' War, a long conflict over who would rule the populous lands of the kingdom. The recently concluded Treaty of Tours has seemingly restored peace to the region, but its stipulations have yet to be carried out in their entirety, as England seemed reluctant to surrender Maine here to the French king. Into the 125 update, no new countries, but revise the French map, especially in the north. a bit better. Normandy region around Paris are now more detailed, allowing for a less one-sided early campaign between England and France once conflict flares up again. We have also taken the opportunity to shift some of the French development towards the more populated north to better represent the historical economy of the region. So more detail that the land, except Paris, is not that developed, and likely Paris has lived from these lands around it, and the regions towards the Channel are rich because of their trade opportunities. The huge province of Bourgogne has also been broken up to represent the Burgundian border, castles such as Semur, with their capital in Dijon, receiving an inland center of trade. Nice, a buff to Burgundy. I love that. I love also the Nibelungs, so that is close to that. So, the Low Countries. My ancestors come from there. Like, a part of my ancestors. I'm a pretty European mix. So I love that as well. Where are you ancestors from? So let's see. Wow, there's a lot going on here. So, already one of the greatest economic centers of the European continent in 1444. Politically, many of the states are dominated by the Dukes of Burgundy, and under their rule they enjoy considerable autonomy, and in time the northern parts will historically form the United Provinces of the Netherlands, an iconic power, the Europa Universalis timeline, and a great mercantile and colonial power. We felt that when this region was last revisited, it was perhaps done so a bit conservatively, and this time we've been less concerned with keeping the status quo. The province of Holland has been broken in two, as has Gelre and Friesland. Let's see. Friesland and Groningen. Oh, patrician vibes here. Patrician vibes. The province of Limburg, forever plagued by trying to accommodate the fact that the majority of the county of Limburg would become separated from the city itself in this timeline, has been removed entirely in a favor of separate province for Upper Guelders. Borders have also been redrawn to hopefully better reflect the many border changes in this region during this period in history. And while the development of the Low Countries region was always high, indeed even in 124 it is higher than all of England, it has been increased slightly again to better reflect the economic power of these cities. Utrecht, Friesland, Gelre and Holland have all grown by one province each, while Brabant, though it remains a powerful force in the region, has lost both a province and a sizable amount of development. So no more Brabant power, or maybe not that quickly. So, this overhaul, they hope, from Ireland to Burgundy, will make for a better experience, will also make for a more accurate representation of the central region to the developments of the 1444 to 1820 period. And I got to say, I love it. Like, going back to the good old start of Europa Universalis and overhauling that is never bad. In the next week, DDR Jake will make another dev diary, what kind of update we're making, as well as the upcoming immersion pack that will go along with it. There have been many speculations about that. Among that, Spain, as this has all been reworked, and Spain has not been reworked since forever. A lot of people have been speculating Spain could be the immersion pack, but I have no idea, I got to say, but Europe is certainly one part that could be affected. Spain is a good tip, I guess. So, thank you for watching, and happy gaming to you. If you want to receive the regular dev diaries that are reading, either as a podcast or as a commentary, as you like, then just subscribe to the channel. I'm also collecting this in a blog post, which I've linked in the description, and which I've also linked in the end screen that is coming up now. And yeah, so if you want to bookmark that, I'm collecting all 1.25 dev diaries in that new blog post on my blog, thoughtfulgaming.com. So, thank you for watching again, and see you around. Have fun playing EU4.